Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Okay, Delaney's okay. Taryn Langley inbox just flooded with support for me. No. That's close anyway. It's Thursday. All of our guests today, including Paul Dolan, standing by to talk Canada-Morocco. Brought to you by the Vancouver Giants. Giants are back at the LEC this weekend for a pair of games. Saturday, they take on Kamloops, 7 p.m. Sunday, a Save on Foods Family Sunday, as the G-Men take on Prince George at 4. Also next Saturday, December the 10th, it's the Giants' annual teddy bear toss game. Maybe you want to take Max there, Ryan. When they take on Kelowna, grab your tickets for all Giants home games at vancouvergiants.com/tickets. Canada has wrapped up at the World Cup in Qatar. A 2-1 loss today to Morocco. 3 matches, 3 losses for our guys. Here to talk about it, as has been the case throughout this tournament, our friend Paul Dolan, who did the call today on radio. How are you, sir?
Good, Donnie. I see you did your best to get the boys going today with that shirt.
Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work.
It did not work.
It was the deciding factor.
Not work.
Yeah.
No.
Early
doors.
What was your takeaway from today's game? You as a goaltender, goaltending played a big part in this one.
Unfortunately, it did. It was a mistake by Milan Borjan. After the mistake by Stephen Vittori, I don't want to pin it all on the keeper, of course, but Canada started out fresh, fine, okay. The first 2 games against Belgium and against Croatia, I thought they started really well. Of course, we scored the goal against Croatia in the early going. But in this game, you make a mistake against a team like Croatia that can punish you on the counterattack, or you make a mistake where it's self-inflicted like it was with Stephen Vittori, just a long ball forward from the Moroccan left side of the field. And Vittori kind of whiffs on it as he plays it back to Milan Borjan. But what he needs to do there, without question, especially early in a game, is route one. Get that thing forward, out of danger. And I still don't know what he was trying to do here, whether he was trying to play it to himself to take another touch, or if he was so worried about getting kicked and dispossessed of the ball that he just swung his foot through it. But again, he had the ability and the time, I think, to just knock it long. Of course, it goes straight to the last player on the pitch that you want to give it to him, back in the Ziyech, who's the Chelsea forward, onto his left foot that he's so good with as well, and he just curls it high and over and into the goal. So the worst possible start. And then you have to give credit on the second goal. I think it's the pass of the tournament. The best pass I've seen yet. Hakimi down the touchline, bends it, curls it. It's just a beautiful pass into El Nasseri, and he slots it home again near post. Not something I would love to see, but it was so well struck and such a nice goal that I'm not going to pin that on Milan. But you're down 2-0 against a team that's the best defensive team in the tournament. They've shown that against Belgium and Croatia. They hadn't conceded in 10 hours, and it looks done and dusted. But give Canada credit. They fought back. Sam Adekubi swings one into the area that goes in off the defender for an own goal. And all of a sudden, you're within a goal and anything can happen. So I like the resilience, the fight back from Canada. They get the header from Atiba that goes off the underside of the crossbar and then is halfway over the goal line. Doesn't get much closer than that. But really, aside from that, we didn't really have any other chances. So that part was disappointing. And obviously, 3 games without a win is disappointing. But I do like the fight, and I do have hope for this group and, the younger group that will come through over the next 4 years down the road for when we host in Canada.
Yep. I think a large portion of the disappointment, Paul, we talked about this in the first segment, comes from the losses in the wake of so much promise shown against Belgium. How would you sum up Canada's performance in Qatar?
That's the thing, I think, Donnie, is that I think we all had such high expectations, and maybe they were unrealistic when you look at the strength of the group. It's weird, though, in hindsight, that everyone was talking about Belgium, whether it was because it was the first game, whether it was because Belgium was the number 2 ranked team in the world and was such a highly ranked team in terms of the players they've got on that squad, including the best midfielder in the world, and Kevin De Bruyne. He was terrible this tournament, terrible in all 3 games. He looked lethargic. He looked like he didn't want to be there. That team was there for the beating on day one, as you say. And the whole penalty kick scenario, not converting that, and then not being able to score thereafter, that set the tone, unfortunately, because you run into a really strong Croatian side that dictated that game with their quality and experience. And then today, a Moroccan team that had to win, everything on the line, and they're the experts at doing what they did, clog the middle and not allow you to get in behind. So it didn't work out for Canada because of the kickoff, the start to the tournament for them. They couldn't kind of dictate terms from there on. And so to answer the question about, I had expectations that maybe they even get out of the group, but certainly they get a point out of this and that we score goals. And we did get a couple in the end, but the expectations I don't think were met overall, which is a disappointing thing.
Paul, it is not only just the players that are going to leave there and soak up that experience and get better. It's got to be the head coach as well. John Herdman's got to learn from the Croatia. He can't do that in 4 years. I mean, Paul, that you're on a world stage, and so do you think he says to himself, you know what, I got to be better in 4 years too?
He absolutely does. He's good about taking that on the chin, as he said before. He is good about finding his learnings, as he calls them, and growing as not just as a team of 26 soccer players, but of a staff and organization and everything else that goes toward the pressures that will be on being a host country now. And, at least that part there, will be looked into. He'll be beating himself up more than anybody else about the fact that they haven't necessarily gotten to the levels that we thought they might get. It was a fantastic achievement to have qualified in the manner that Canada did, top of the table at CONCACAF and everything else. But there were some things where I think there was periods where you could learn from how that. Obviously, he would take that back, what he said about Croatia, and motivated them extra further. I think there are one or two other tactical switches, but that's always going to be the case, I think, with a manager. It is for every manager in the tournament, in every country. But there are some things maybe that could have been tweaked tactically that he'll learn from as well. And you just hope that he grows like the players will grow in the next 4 years.
Okay, so I'm going to put you in charge of Soccer Canada. What do they need? What changes are you making? What are you doing to improve so that in 4 years on home turf, it's a whole lot better?
Yeah, it doesn't stop now. You don't just hope that, okay, in 4 years, Fonzie's going to be a little bit better because, from 22 to 26, all professional athletes come into their prime and they gain a little bit of experience and they become better players, and they hit their stride. You can't just rely on that. The pipeline needs to be continued to be filled with more Ishmael Kones, other young players that are coming through. I think the goalkeeper position is one that needs to be looked at here. How do we establish and how do we develop more goalkeepers? Because with Maxime Crépeau, you've got Dean St. Clair. There's a couple of good goalkeepers there. Can a Thomas Asal or someone like that start to break through as well? And hopefully we can develop in that area. But that's going to be the case for all 11 positions across the pitch. And that is down to the coaching curriculum, the development of coaches across the country, and, of course, developing the young players through the academies and the rest of the systems we have in place.
Okay, also, before I let you go, Adoli, Chris Jones, CBC Sports, wrote an article. It's entitled, "Is Alphonso Davies' Celebrity a Problem for Canada's Men's National Team?" I'm paraphrasing a bit here. He was upset with how unavailable, relatively speaking, Alphonso was for the media during the World Cup, and even ripped into his earrings. Is there anything to this? Has Canada got anything to worry about?
Oh, that was so misinformed. I understand he's a good writer and everything else, but he's picked the wrong target. It must be because he feels the fact that he didn't get the one-on-one, it only went to the right holder.
Yes.
The interviews that maybe he had a bee in his bonnet that particular day, but now it's written as he's written it, and I think he would want to take that one back because he's picked the wrong target. Alphonso Davies has done absolutely everything he can to put the pressure of all this on his shoulders, be the player that he is, speak out into the media and into the public whenever he can. I just think that Chris Jones in this instance, he's got this one wrong.
Yeah, it seemed like an emotional piece. And also, Dolan, one more before we let you go. I know you agree with me. Roberto Luongo, Ring of Honor versus number retirement. As a goaltender, you would know these things.
Oh, yeah. I'm the expert in this, but I guess I'm with you there. I know that's the hot topic. I heard you guys ahead of the break, so... what are you saying, Dolly? You're saying the opposite?
No, he's
sitting on the fence.
And Paul, you had 2 kids in minor hockey. I believe one of your kids was a goalie.
Yes, he's playing at SFU. They're heading to Alaska today.
Oh, that's right. He's on the SFU hockey team. That's right. See, this is great stuff. So
should his number be retired?
No. Is your kid's number getting retired by SFU? No, just kidding. But come on, Paul. You know hockey goalies. You know soccer goalies. Let us what you know. Tell us what you know.
I don't know enough. I know that the number 29 is retired in Montreal. That's about all I know.
Oh, okay. Big Ken Dryden fan.
Ken Dryden.
Dolan, thanks for this. This has been great. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right, fellas. We'll catch up later.
You bet.